the chosen one. No more tension for you. Heaven, the supply is endless. You've been running with weights on your shoulders for too long. You've borne burdens that you didn't create. You're anxious about how things will turn out. Where will the money come from, and how will you get by? However, this message has come at the perfect time to remind you that the source of your supply is not the economy, your work, or the people around you. It's paradise itself. Heaven does not run out. Heaven's supply does not depend on market expectations or human timescales. It is based in eternity. It's steady, consistent, and completely connected with your divine identity as the chosen one. So stick with me throughout this video. This is not simply information. It is the activation process. Allow your energies to connect with this reality. Stress is leaving your life because heavenly provision is taking over. So leave your best wishes in the comments, along with the number 777. Now is the time to manifest your dreams. When you write them down, you allow the universe to begin working in your favor. You are not begging. You are agreeing with the abundance that is already flowing in your path. This is how desires are fulfilled. This is how the cosmos is fueled by your conviction. Let us proclaim it. Picked one. No more tension for you. Heaven's supply is now boundless. I choose one. Like this video. Subscribe. If you have not subscribed to the channel, please listen attentively because something is changing in your environment as you take this in. This is not a motivational statement designed to make you feel better momentarily. It's a heavenly insight designed to alter how you see reality. You are no longer operating under the constraints of the world's scarcity in terms of how you receive, flow, and thrive. Everything is experiencing a metamorphosis. There is a supply chain from above that has been triggered in your life. And there are no shortages, delays, or limitations in this supply chain. Everything you need is already being handled. When you worry, you are attempting to exert control over something that God has already given angels to protect. Your fear slows the flow, while your faith speeds up the release. You were not picked for stress. You were picked to have divine assurance. You've signed a new spiritual contract, and you're no longer compelled to strive like everyone else. When you acknowledge your identity as the chosen one, heaven provided a new route for you. That plan contains relaxation, tranquility, and beyond comprehensible provision. Stress is frequently caused by attempting to grasp with your head what your soul was supposed to receive. You look at your present resources and worry how you'll finance what's next. But God never asked you to depend on what you have in your hand. God has asked you to trust in what is already placed in heaven's vault under your name. You do not go through life expecting that things would fall into place. You are going with purpose, knowing that everything is already falling into place for your benefit. Doors that would not have opened before are now swinging wide since your supply is no longer restricted by man's permission. The bills that used to worry you up are now being paid via supernatural ways. The assistance you've been asking for is on its way, not from someone doing you a favor, but from supernatural powers sent to guarantee you have all you need. This is the power of being divinely supported. Heaven's supply isn't seasonal. It is limitless and always on time. Let go of your nervous thinking. The assumption that you have to figure everything out is out of date. You're not here to play survival games. You're here to function on a different level. A reality in which peace becomes your money and trust your GPS. You're not laboring for blessings anymore. Blessings are working for you. Your tension stops where your perception of divine sustenance starts. Take a deep breath and realize you've been struggling against the flow of grace for far too long. Grace was designed to carry you, not to be rejected by you. You do not have to stress your way to success. You do not need to worry your way into provision. God knew exactly what you needed before you asked. The only thing left for you to do is accept without guilt and walk freely in the knowledge that your needs have been satisfied in the celestial sphere. You may have seen lack around you, but don't let that fool you into thinking it resides inside you. You may have encountered delays, but it does not imply you have been denied the chosen one. While others check their accounts, you are linked to a never-dry fountain. You're examining your beliefs because that's what distinguishes those who seek provision from those who embrace it. You're not pursuing anything anymore. Heaven is pursuing you, bringing you everything you need. This is not about appearing to have everything all together. It's about knowing that even when things seem unclear, you know who has your back. Stress is replaced with security. Lack is replaced by plenty, and panic is replaced by tranquility. This is your portion now. And the more you accept it, the more miracles appear in everyday places. You will begin to see minor flashes of heavenly confirmation. Yes, you're covered. Yes, you are preferred. Yes, your funding comes from a kingdom that never runs out. You can no longer stress as you used to. That conduct is characteristic of an older version of you. You didn't understand how much you were supported, that angels were already working on your behalf. But now you know. And when you know more, you can flow better. Stress has no control over a soul that understands its cause. Keep your spirit open, for everything you thought you'd lost is being restored. Everything you thought you needed to work for is now yours. Not because you are undeserving, but because it has always been a gift. You no longer need to hustle as much as you formerly did. You do not have to impress anybody to be worthy. Heaven is not rewarding you depending on your performance. It's donating based on promises. And that promise is rooted in your spiritual identity. Your name appears in heaven's supply ledger. The benefits that are now occurring in your life are not coincidental. They are a confirmation. They aren't late. They are exactly on divine time. The chosen one. Your fate is not determined by human judgment. It aligns with divine provision. And heaven's provision is always more than sufficient. More to come. Not because you requested it, but because you are prepared for it. You've grown into the season. You've dropped the luggage. You have passed the silent exams. You have stayed loyal in times of hunger. And now the feast is ready. God does not forget those who trust silently. When faith becomes a way of life, heaven does not wait. And suddenly the overflow starts. You're entering a flow in which tension cannot follow. It's too weighty for the light road you're taking. You're at a new level of faith where miracles pursue you and provision surrounds you like a shield. You no longer worry about where the next gift will come from. You know it's coming. And knowing is the key. That vibration unlocks doors quicker than any plan, since belief is your breakthrough. You have been spiritually improved. What used to intimidate you is no longer effective. What formerly stressed you out is now beneficial to you. What once was a mountain is now a marvel. Because heaven doesn't just give, heaven evolves. And you are now being converted from concern to confident, from anxiety to tranquility, from broke to supported by the limitless. You're entering a season in which you'll see how readily heaven provides for you once you quit trying to carry everything on your own. There is a new frequency being downloaded into your soul that drowns out the voice of dread, lack, and pressure. The voice used to whisper, "What if it doesn't work out?" has been muted by a larger voice that says, "What if it performs better than you expected?" And it will, because you got into a supply covenant rather than a survival one. Stress flourished when you believed you needed to create your own blessings. Stress had space to build in your head when you believed you had to outwit life in order to make ends meet. But not anymore. Not when you're living off of heaven's supply. It's no longer about manipulation, strategy, or striving. This is about surrendering to the supernatural. This is about allowing the divine logistics to develop without your intervention. Heaven does not need your panic to function. It requires your consent to continue. Every time you stop and declare, "I release the pressure," you communicate to the universe that you are ready for heavenly ease. And comfort does not imply sloth. Ease embodies faith in action. Ease says, "I'll do what God leads me to do and let Him manage what I can't control." You're still showing up. You are still using your talents, but you aren't hurrying out of fear. You are overflowing with favor. Stress was never yours. You simply grew accustomed to it and it seemed normal. But once you've experienced the sense of divine provision, you can't go back. You can't undo what you know now. After getting such a grand vision, you can't believe in anything tiny. And sure, it is large. The supply allocated to you is not basic. It is excessive. It's wonderful. It's intended to surpass expectations. Because God deals in miracles rather than minimums. You will no longer budget your aspirations around your anxieties. You will broaden your view to accommodate heaven's objectives. Every time you relax into this reality, the supply becomes more evident. Not because it just came, but because your energy has now aligned to see it. Stress prevents you from seeing the gifts that are already there in your environment. But peace grants you access. Peace unleashes provision. Peace puts you in touch with the amazing. This is why you must not only hear, but also embrace this message. It's one thing to nod and say amen, but it's quite another to change your lifestyle to match the regularity. You can't claim boundless supply while maintaining a scarcity mindset. You cannot anticipate overflow if you act as if you are continually struggling to make ends meet. That isn't your identity anymore. You are not scraping, you are flying. So start walking like it and speaking like it. Begin creating choices that represent the divine truth. Don't underestimate your desires because they seem too huge for your present position. You were not created to fit into your current situation. You are meant to fulfill your potential. As your mission rises, so does your provision. So does heaven's release. Make your prayers sound different now. Not panicky, hurried pleas of please God, do something. However, God's pronouncements are strong. I believe it has already been completed. Because it is. That is the truth. You are being called to carry right now. And when you carry the truth like that, stress has no access. It cannot coexist in an environment full with certainty. You may still confront difficult circumstances, but you will not be rattled by them. That is the shift. Stress used to overpower you. Peace has become your instinct. You've created a foundation that cannot be disturbed by little issues. Your roots are strong. Your comprehension is evident. Your environment is distinct. You are now situated in a new spiritual world, one in which poverty may endure, but anxiety cannot. This is not just about money. Yes, heaven provides money, but the supply is more than that. It includes clarity, peace of mind, relationships, ships that support your purpose, healing ideas, strength, favor, and protection, everything that keeps you healthy and aligned. That is what it means to stroll in a limitless supply. You're not only receiving funding, you are being strengthened. You do not need to worry about how the doors will open. The doors were made just for you. You do not need to pursue opportunities. Opportunities are already attracting your energies. You do not need to beg for support. The correct individuals have been divinely sent to walk beside you. Heaven doesn't forsake its chosen. Heaven accelerates them. The time no longer works against you. It is working with you. Even the delays served heavenly reasons. They assisted you in shedding attitudes that were not compatible with this new realm. Stress is past its expiry date. It's time to toss it away. Pack it up. Say farewell. Thank you for educating me. Then let go. You've switched to a new frequency, the frequency of fulfillment. You will notice that things begin to fall into place without you panicking. This will surprise you at first. It'll seem nearly too simple, and you'll be inclined to doubt it. Do not overthink your blessings. Don't worry about why something is finally functioning. Just receive. Simply flow. Simply step through the open door. Miracles do not always make sense. They were not meant to. They were created to blow your mind and remind you of how blessed you really are. That is your current reality. Become used to things being easy. Get used to heavenly alignments. Get accustomed to listening. Yes, more often. Get accustomed to the unexpected provision. That is the result of living a stress-free, spiritually based existence. You've gone too far to return to restless nights, overthinking everything and questioning your own abilities. You have seen too much to pretend you are not supportive. You've had enough stress. It's time to live in the comfort of heavenly assurance. The type of conviction that lets you declare, I don't know how, but I know who, and that person is all you need. You are not missing anything. No fun, no time, no possibilities, and no breakthroughs. You're in the supply chain now. The stronger your belief, the more it manifests itself. That is the spiritual law of abundance. It reacts to belief rather than pleading. It moves when you move with trust rather than fear. So spread your hands in anticipation. Open your heart broad. Heaven is still reigning. The lovely thing is that the more you get from heaven, the more you offer to others. Your cup is not just full. It's affecting every aspect of your life, including your home, career, and relationships. Even your presence will become a resource for others. People will feel at ease around you. They will sense the ease emanating from your soul. They'll question, "How are you so calm?" And the answer will be easy. Because I understand where my supplies come from. And just like that, you become a conduit, a receptacle for heavenly calm, a carrier of overflow, and a living testament to the fact that tension has no place in a divinely supported soul. This is your new normal. And things only get better from here. You are beginning to see that heavenly sustenance is not something you must earn via weariness. It's something you're already related to via heredity. As the chosen one, you have been picked to live a life that is not determined by the world's shortage, but rather by heaven's limitless vault. This adjustment in viewpoint alters everything. You no longer awaken with dread. You wake up expecting favor to appear the instant your feet hit the floor. Heaven is already planning miracles on your behalf. Things are already going in your way before you say anything. Not because you hurried. Not because you hurried, but because you agreed. Because you walked into trust rather than conflict. That is your power now. Your divine union has become a catalyst for progress. You will observe that folks who used to wear tension as a badge will not comprehend your tranquility. They will presume you do not care. But it is not that. You've uncovered a deeper reality. You care more than ever before. But not for fear. From faith. From the unshakable knowledge that you are supported by something everlasting. Something sacrosanct. Something that cannot run out. They'll wonder how you're so confident, how you seem to soar above turmoil. The solution is spiritual. It is not arrogance. It's called awareness. You're merely living with a deeper knowledge. You understand that what flows to you is not determined by how loudly you scream or how much you plead. It is founded on the peaceful understanding that you are divinely supplied. As a result, peace serves as your starting point. You don't have to worry about the supply when you trust the source. When you reflect on your life, you will discover that stress never fixed anything. It only delayed the gift. It blurred your eyesight. It made you feel smaller than you really were. But now that the fog has gone, you realize that you were never intended to carry what heaven has already covered. You were never meant to bear responsibilities. Heaven had previously budgeted for this. You're learning to walk lightly. Walk with empty hands and a full heart. Not because you are reckless, but because you are looked after. That's the shift. That is the lifestyle. The worry you originally felt was linked to your old notion that everything relied on you. However, your new reality indicates the reverse. Everything depends on God's perfect timing, not your panic. The difference between tension and tranquility is trust. And trust is a muscle. You've been creating it quietly, faithfully, even at times when you felt neglected. And now that faith is becoming your portal to overflow. The previously delayed supply is now coming with interest, because heaven does not forget those who believe even when there is no apparent proof.